Hi guys, Peter Harper, Managing Director and CEO of Senior Advisors. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Senior Advisors, we are a multi-family office and we advise private clients, family offices and the portfolio companies they own on US-Australia deals. So what I wanted to do was check in today and discuss two tax cases that may be relevant to anyone who has generated a foreign sourced or US sourced capital gain in an Australian trust in this current financial year. So two very significant cases dropped in the year ending 30 June 2020. The first was a case of Burton, in which the full federal court determined that only one half of the foreign tax credits associated with a US sourced capital gain could be applied to reduce the tax payable in Australia. And the reason for this is because the capital gain was the gross capital gain was reduced by the 50% discount, and the full federal court said that you could only apply the foreign tax credits associated with the net capital gain. Right? The end result being the foreign tax credits cut in half, and the effective tax rate of the taxpayer was increased from 23.5% to 33.5%. The next case was the case of Greensill, in which the full federal court determined that a capital gain associated with the disposal of shares in a company that was not taxable Australian property, and those that aren't familiar with that term, in order for an asset that is not real estate to be subject to Australian tax when it's income that's or a capital gain generated by a non-resident, it needs to be classified as taxable Australian property. In this case, the court ruled that a capital gain generated by an Australian trust, discretionary trust, that was distributed to a non-resident beneficiary was subject to tax in Australia. And the previous held view was that by most tax practitioners in Australia that capital gain would be exempt. This was a controversial position, but it was also reflected more recently in a number of tax determinations that were released by the ATO. So when you are whether you're looking to do planning for your clients, so you're preparing trust resolutions, or you're currently considering, how should we be accounting for gains associated with US or foreign sourced capital gains generated by Australian trusts in this tax year, and you need assistance, please feel free to reach out. Ciao.